after your display is done, which I imagine takes like 30 seconds to a minute, and like everybody's just kind of like watching you in silence. Once you're done and like you're kind of like happy with yourself and you like turn back towards them, do you even sit or do you just continue standing?
No, he just continues standing.
Yep. Once you're happy with yourself and you turn back to everybody else, he then poignantly turns over to the Asari and he's like, "And you can."
I'm well versed in a sword.
That's not going to help us very much on the ship. Do you understand engineering at all?
I know some programming.
Well, perhaps that's probably the best place for you is down below and making sure that this thing is old, it's beat up. We're using it for a reason. It's to reduce the likelihood of us being targeted by anything other than just some low-level pirates. So you want to just make sure that the power is properly distributed amongst the ship. Nothing crazy. We've upgraded and modified the VI that handles most of this. So if you can just communicate with her, I'm sure things will go smoothly.
Ah, well, if it's communicating with a VI than you need, then yes, I'll be more than able to complete that task.
It's mostly going to be with VI interface with a little bit of reprogramming and calculations need be done. It's taken care of itself for the most part.
By the way, while all this is going on, would I be able to check if I had any messages from my contact?
You check, no response.
Okay.
Yep.
Stay quiet then.
He says, "Do you have familiarity at all with human engineering or electronics?"
No. I was trying to know everything there is to know about Asari technology, assuming that that would be the forefront of technology in the lands.
I'm sure it was. And then like he sends to you like more or less basics. Basics, yeah, PDFs, basics of human electron. It's literally, and then like because of this, certain parts on the ship are like hodgepodge together. It's not like a standard ship, right? It's also, like PDF like owner manuals for like, but like you just get this file of files of PDFs of all the different. So you can kind of like start parsing through it as you need to.
How well do you know this ship, Lieutenant Clark?
I picked it out of a junkyard.
Did you oversee any of the mech adjustments made to it?
I spoke to the people that handled it. I am not a mechanic myself.
Well, then there is a far easier way for me to learn all of this information that we can see to a later time. And she actually would like step back, like, all right, you're done talking to me right now.
Yep. He actually kind of like genuinely looks perplexed for a moment, and then he's like. And like you can see him put two and two together.
The cogs.
Yeah, you can see him put two and two together, and he's like, we can discuss details. And he turns back to the Solarian, and he's like, do you understand that interface?
It might be useful if you get me up to speed quickly.
Actually, I've been studying Solarian interfaces for some time now. Hold on. And he gets up and he actually goes over. It's one of those like uncomfortable moments where like you're at a computer and like the other person's like leaning over you onto your keyboard. And it's like, so he's like right next to you and he's like, and he's like fiddling with it, whatnot for a while. And for, like 45 seconds to a minute. And then when he's done, it kind of executes commands and you see the entire interface like shuts down and then starts rebooting, and it reboots into the Solarian language and their general interface. It's clunky. It is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it is something that you're more familiar with your background, and you see it coming online with the Solarian-like interface. And he looks at it, and he looks to you, and he's like, "Will that do?"
It's a start.
I did program that one, so. If you need changes, I can fix the code for you. Just let me know.
Out of game question real quick. Would I be able, through interaction with this terminal, whatnot, be able to like get used slowly to human terminals or whatnot? Because I imagine you need to like get familiar with their terminals before you can really start hacking them and whatnot.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, usually once you get inside, all code eventually breaks down to literally ones and zeros, right? So eventually it breaks down to that level. So usually what it is when it comes to hacking things that you don't know, it might just take when it's something that you can't handle, it's higher level language or higher level coding for hacking. It just takes longer because you're just like, okay, let's go down to the lower level. Okay, let's go down to the lower level. And every time you go down a level, you're dealing with more base or more fundamentals of the actual program that you're trying to mess with. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. Like if you're literally just trying to open a door, it's like, but I'm not dealing with the electronics of on versus off for doing the door. I'm dealing with the electronics for the power fluctuations coming in and out of the different circuits. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like the lower down you go, just the more time it takes. So learning human technologies just makes it so that you will be able to do it faster, not necessarily better. Comprende?
Okay, because the way I understood it from like last season and whatnot, if we didn't know like the Volus technology and whatnot, it would be harder to hack them, but it just takes more time. Okay.
Yep.
Just checking for future reference, no particular reason.
Nope. I imagine no reason whatsoever. All right, so you are oh geez, Frank, that GIF. Oh God.
It hit me by surprise, 100%.
Yeah. I was like, oh
I've
God,
seen it
what's
before. That's great.
Yeah. All right, so moving on. So he kind of goes and he's like, so we're gonna just start flying in. I imagine it's gonna take us at least a couple of days for us to get there, and this is concerning because it's already been a day and a half since this happened. So I'm gonna be burning this ship as fast as I can, get us there as quickly as we can. Once again, just keep an eye on those power fluctuations. Okay. And Antoine says, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
sure. Yeah, if you were talking to her, then yeah, she actually would leave and go to the engine room.
So you guys are going about your like routine movements, going about everything that you need to do, on the ship, getting familiar with the thing. Again, Rick, the interface is Solarian, just rudimentary, so you can make changes.
Would I be able to make my own adjustments to it without him?
Of course, absolutely.
Great.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I would be doing that.
You're not like a WizKid electronics person, so it'd be a little bit difficult for you, but you can manage it one little tidbit at a time. Eventually, you start making your way to the mass relay. You blast through the mass relay and make your way over to the Attican Traverse, and then over to the Skillian Verge, and then over there is where it is that you're going to start looking for things. What do you do to kill time? Because obviously, Ollie Entree is pretty filled up with learning the schematics and everything of the engine room.
She's barely one of the main focuses is at as early as convenience. She wants to meld with Clark.
Okay, we're going to get to that in 1 second. Could you do me a favor and roll for me 3 different
Jesus!
Electronics
This
checks?
ship's gonna blow up.
But with these electronics checks, you can roll for me. I'm going to say charisma for 2 of them and intelligence for 1. Tell me which one your intelligence one is, and that's because you're actually dealing
with this one.
You're learning from the VI more than you're dealing with smarts. You said this is the intelligence one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now go with the VI. And again. Okay.
So actually, all right, all things considered.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Good enough for like passive work, I guess.
For keeping, because one of the things that you notice that every once in a while he does like this huge draw of energy. It's like, and he's FTL burning hard, trying to get there as quickly as he can. So you're clearly gonna have to draw power from other parts of the ship to allow this to travel as quickly as it does. Where do you choose to draw power from? What aspect of the ship, as you understand spaceships in general, do you think is the least important during this point?
I would love if I could find that image of the ship, but there it is.
Yep. You don't have to worry about what's on the image of the ship.
No, I am, because I would be drawing power away from the galley.
Okay, so you're talking about some of the life
We all
support
have
areas?
ration packs, so why would you need... we don't need any of those food production services online. Similarly...
Cost saving, though.
But if I would actually straight up ping him saying you're being inefficient. But then he would be like,
I'm being
going
expedient.
fast. Yeah, and then I would send a sad emoji, and then we would I'd power down like the entire boarding section. It's like basically, unless you're in the engine room, there's no reason to be below deck.
Sure. So the entire
Yeah, we
below
don't
deck
need a
you take
cargo
off.
ramp on either at the moment.
All of that below deck is emergency power, basically.
So
It's
you
like
just
the end.
use your suit's life support for like the period of time that you're like walking between engineering
Yeah,
and the engine room.
basically.
Yeah. All right, cool. That's perfectly fine. But otherwise, those rooms themselves have their own life support. So you turn off the life support. Do you pull from anywhere else other than the life support
Do I
and
need
the
to
general
pull
power?
from anywhere else?
What was that?
Do I need to pull from anywhere else? Because I'm running out of things that I could pull from.
Well, you're shutting down lower power functions, but certainly big area of the ship, so that gives you a good
Yeah.
power draw. You can also reduce power from, like, say, the weapons and or the shields, and
We
other
don't need an
areas.
airlock on right now.
The gravity function, stuff like that. But you obviously want the gravity function on.
Yep.
Ollie is
I
that
don't
person that
sound-
plays FTL and just takes off life support.
I'm
Have them
not.
stand in the
I'm
med
not-
bay. It'll be
I'm
fine.
have the areas that people live in.
Ollie, you don't have to turn off anymore, but if you
No.
choose to, it just gives him it gives him
No,
more
I-
accessible power.
And if you'd be like, I need more power, I'd be like, no.
So
What about weapons?
he will not tell you need more power. You'll actually
need weapons.
see the fluctuation. So you don't want to pull from the weapons or shields or anything else. Cool.
I mean, we
When-
don't need them right now.
We might need them right now. Scott's a tricky bastard. We're going into the Skillian Verge. We might need them right now.
No, whatever you're
We're in
talking
a
about.
human ship.
Roll 20 checks to see if you find enemies.
So we're gonna Frank, what is Cracks doing during this period of time? These few days that pass while you guys are traveling.
Do you see that storage room over there, right across from the crew quarters?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his bedroom.
Oh, okay. So he just kind of like he literally
Kinda
goes to the
just
storage
takes it
room,
over.
moves a bunch of crates and crap like that out of the way, and just goes,
I like.
"Yep."
Yeah, like he sees the bed, they're human sized. This is like, he just shakes his head and just like opens the storage door and just like moves it there, starts moving stuff aside.
Oh, because we have like basically a whole like a big room that we all share,
Yeah,
and you're just like, I'm in the closet.
it's like, it's
There's a monster in my closet.
you guys have incredibly, like he probably makes that comment to Clark. By the way, he's calling Clark Sparky
Oh, is it now gone to Sparky?
Yep.
Right.
because that other guy messed up the name and
Yep.
he's just going with it because he wants to fuck with the person. Yeah, so he's just like,
You call him
Sparky.
Sparky. He's like,
Yeah.
when you say that, it's like one of those. At first, it really annoys the shit out of him. Like he's like really annoyed, but like, and like he goes to say something once, but then like catches himself partway through saying it. Like, what are you gonna? And then like after a while, like after a day and a half, 2 days of it happening, it just seems to bother him less and less, and he just like straight up starts responding to it. And then, like,
That's where you go. You
and-
just need to
You've
internalize
conditioned
the
him.
bullying. That's all you
Yep.
need. Yeah.
so
Uh,
Train
but-
your human.
yeah, probably like one of the first conversations that they have. Maybe it's not even a full conversation. It's like when Clark introduces the crew quarters is like, Sparky, I'm. And he just like makes hand motions. It's like, pointing at the human. Then closer to himself,
he's like, "You'll make do."
and he just like walks to the closet and opens it up and like looks around, like just nods and is like, I'll make do.
So yeah, you do exactly like you were describing inside the room
Yeah.
and everything to make it your comfortable place or whatever. And
Oh, he's like
Yes.
flat out sleeping on the floor, dude.
Yeah.
There's no cushioning, no nothing.
it's awesome in his armor. 'cause you
Just
put
like
your armor.
home.
So you guys do that or whatever. So at one point in time, we'll say, do you want to say just like later that first day of traveling or the next day of traveling, Ollie?
Next day.
Okay, so
Like
next
enough
day.
time that, like, assumedly we would have had one or two casual conversations.
Yep. So it would be one of those. At one point in time, he'll say to the Solarian, what the hell's his name? Because cattle only has to sleep 1 hour a day. You know what I mean? He spends time doing other things too, but he only has to sleep 1 hour a day. And otherwise, he spends a lot of time poring over these electronics and getting familiar with the ship and learning stuff. And his mind is always racing. He's always working on things. He's always trying to figure something else out. So he's over there, and he'll be like, because you're not at your seat right now. You're actually over at the weapons seat. And you tried sitting, but now you can't even sit there because the way he broke it, now it doesn't even really move that much anymore. So you're kind of like standing and hunched over the thing, like tapping away at the keyboard, trying to figure it out and trying to like learn the systems to the best of your ability. He'll actually say to you, say, Kettle, keep an eye on things. I'm going to go, I'm going to go take a break.
Sure.
And he walks out of the bridge, leaving you in the bridge alone. And that's when he'll kind of go to like the crew area where he goes and like opens up like a bit of a ration pack and he's eating that. And this is where he'll have Entourage is going to see him go over and just like walk over and sit on his bunk and grab some food and start nibbling at it. Go ahead.
At that point, she'll go over and she'll sit on his bunk. I'm making great progress with the virtual intelligence, but it'd be far easier if I could glimpse at the knowledge inside your head.
The word is melding.
Yes, we refer to it as melding. It is perfectly harmless. In fact, many people enjoy the experience.
I've read about this. The Asari are an interest to humans. I read about this a lot. It's more than just glimpsing, isn't it?
I think just to interrupt, you just hear like the storage door close.
She'll like look over and then like not even stop, like go back and it's like, yes, for a short period of time our minds would become one. But if you wish to hide any embarrassing information from me, I would not pry any further than I'd need to. It takes a talented mind to really look into the randomness that is someone's head. Yeah, it's all spaghetti up in there.
Roll for me a perception charisma check.
Sure.
He's aroused.
Perception charisma. Well, for a second there I thought you said persuasion. I was like, Scott, there's no persuasion roll.
You silly boy, you.
Yeah.
Whoa! That was a really good roll. That was really good, Ollie. Okay, so you can tell,
Ooh.
and it's funny, Rick kind of hit it on the nose. He is trying to play calm, but he's clearly, and you've seen this before, you're not an idiot, he's clearly like holding back like a bit of giddiness and excitement at the idea of what's going on. But it's more than just the fact that this is a dude with an attractive woman in front of him that is clearly saying like, hey, yo, let's do the thing that we call sex.
We'll bang, okay?
Yeah. It's more...
Report to the ship immediately.
Nice shoes, what the fuck, right? So it's more than just that. You can actually see that his interest, his excitement goes beyond that. You've gleamed before that he's actually a really fucking intelligent person. You've met humans before, and humans are kind of annoying. But this human is like Solarian level cognizance. You know what I mean? Like he is very keen. He's very, very quick. Things that you've maybe pointed out,
kind of thing.
things that you've pointed out before, like on the ship, like a problem or something like that. He'll like, there's this problem in engineering. He'll swing by there, and you can tell when he walks into the room, he knows dick all as much as you do about maybe the particular thing that you're trying to figure out, but he understands it so quickly that he's able to learn it and teach it to you in a tenth the amount of time that you probably would have been able to figure it out, right? So he is intrigued also on an intellectual level of like, I need to experience this in life. And so that being said, he's clearly trying to hide this giddiness, but it's very apparent to you. And he's like, and how does one go about doing this?
Well, the easiest way would be correctly, like usually it's like hand on head, and then you meld it. Although I actually don't need to touch people to meld with them, but I would say the easier, it would be far easier for me for us to, and she would do, which would be like kind of flirty, but she, like, if he does a roll on her, she is like not even being flirty at all. She's just being very practical, like hand on chest, hand on head kind of thing. But I mean, she's an Asari, so it's very gentle touch. and I think maybe someone not as smart wouldn't realize, but he's a bit smart.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's wicked smart.
You get that it's a practical thing, and really you just need to relax.
So he's agreeing to it, but he's doing so slowly and going through the process with you slowly. But it's not slowly like nervous. It's like calculatedly slowly, like trying not to seem too excited. Like one of those like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Hold on, let me go and finish this thing I'm doing first. Like oh sure, okay, it sounds like a good idea. Hold on, let me just like eat a little bit more food. And he's kind of like delaying a little bit.
Yeah.
And she like humors his very obvious like giddiness and nervousness or whatever. And so eventually he's just like, oh yeah, okay. And will come over to sit closer to you. Do you like sit on the same bed, or do you go sit on the same bed as him?
Yeah. I'd go back to sitting on the same bed as him.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I would just do the same thing again.
Okay.
And cuddle.
All right. And so
more or less.
Yeah. And so I guess he holds her. And
I meld with her. It actually requires no rolls at this level. It's a willing participant. Yep. So there's two things I'm melding for here as we embrace eternity and all that. I want to get more knowledge about the ship and the VI and all the stuff, but I also want to get more that he knows about the job, because he knows more about the job than he's letting on, and she straight up would actually be looking for that. And when she melds, it's more than just we're becoming one. She's trained in this. She is trained to pick the bits of knowledge that she particularly wants, right?
So
spend some effort.
When you are doing this, when you're jumping into his mind, one of the things that you notice is that jumping into a human mind, and this is your first time doing it, is not like jumping into an Asari mind by any means. Jumping into an Asari mind is like taking a dip in a nice pool of water, right? Going into a human mind and just the sheer chaos that is a human mind is more like jumping into like a vat of Jello that's been thrown into the freezer for an hour.
I think you're gonna come up with like 10 better analogies if you were thinking about this in advance.
Let's be honest.
But the thing is, like, so you've never jumped into a human mind before. You are like the viscosity of his mind is
it probably hits me way harder than I think. Yeah,
and it is one of those things where as you first jump into it, the sheer chaos of it is crazy. It's like, it's powerful. But as an Asari, not only do you jump in and you have to control the thing, you also, it has to be an ebb and flow thing where not only are you focusing on this, you need them to focus on it too. And so almost like your mind puts out a beacon within his mind for him to grab hold to. And this is where, once again, the keenness that is Clark, he seems to be able to, after gathering his bearings, which is not a short period of time, when he finally does grasp this like beacon of thought that you're putting onto him, when there is that focus that comes to, this focus is actually incredible. Like, the chaos that is a human mind is exhausting to your character. But when he finally brings his focus to bear and wraps his mind back around yours, you can actually hold each other in your minds with a really strong connection, which is really nice. It actually makes moving about it so much easier. However, the information that you're trying to get that you don't want him to know about, you would probably do prior. So that being said, what exactly were you trying to get? Just more information about the job?
More information about the job, because he's like prepared for stuff that it's clearly not just civilians. There's more going on, and if he doesn't know, that's okay. Then it would be like his thoughts. But what it seems like, and what she's thinking, because this is what she is that he's basically handling them on this job, making sure they do it but don't look too far into things. So that's kind of what she's actually looking for. And then afterwards would probably actually stay in the meld longer than she planned, instead of a quick in out, you know.
Absolutely.
Have a good time.
So one of the things that you do, you find out, like looking around in there and trying to find out what's going on, is you find out that this human vessel did in fact go dark. You know, that comes very obvious to you. But then also you get little tidbits, like you hear transmissions of like staticky distant sounds of like screams and whatnot happening. Then you see like off to the side, you see like a flash of a panel coming up with imagery put on it, a bunch of words in the language that humans speak. Which, does your character read human language? I imagine
we
not.
haven't even discussed languages in this game.
Yeah,
so none of us know how it works.
Oh, fair enough. We didn't go over that. Well, we can go over that afterwards. But I imagine you cannot read human language, but you remember the characters and how they come out and everything.
I can tell it's human language. I just don't know what it says.
Yeah, you can tell that it's human language. It's coming in their characters or whatever. And then
actually, no, I can read what it says because when I meld with someone, I learn their language.
You instantly learn their language, or you can just understand through their mind.
I understand through their mind, so this is his memory.
There's a report saying that an Alliance vessel was sent over to investigate this already, and that vessel has already gone dark.
Aha. That's good to know.
And has also gone dark as well. And that beyond that, the only other vessels that have gone by to investigate this too were larger ones using long-range scanners trying to figure things out, but not, you know, blah, 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 blah.
Which is stuff that Cadell was told and don't think he relayed, so that's still new information.
Yep. So, you're kind of like, that's what you're able to glean from his mind while you're doing it, trying to force your way there. And then all of a sudden, like, his focus really starts to come to bear. And when you guys have that unite and you have that entwining, all of a sudden at this point in time, you really are able to connect with one another on a very, very strong level because of how cognizant he is. So you're able to really connect with one another. And like every nuance of detail that he understood about the ship, every nuance of humans' way of handling VI, the conventions that they use, lots of voice prompt commands. Like, so when, say, Asari designed their AI, they designed their AI that more focuses on, say, inflection of tone, and things like that. When Solarians design their AI, their thing is all about like the way that they describe things with like the math behind it, like breaking it down for how it responds, right? When humans design their AI, it's literally about exact word prompt commands. So tone has nothing to do with it. Algorithm, nothing to do with it. It's literally word prompt commands are what you need to do.
That's funny.
You put in an input and you take out a result. So you were describing something, Ollie, and I spoke over you. Please.
No, it's like, so for previously she's been trying to talk to the virtual intelligence of the ship very personally. Which just doesn't work because it's a human VI. I mean, she actually did okay, but you know that would be what she was been doing wrong. But she's alone in the engineering room, so no one would have seen her. She would have just been talking to it.
So you glean this and you're like, oh, I just need to put it. And so it's a matter of like more or less memorizing the schematics of word prompts and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then you also learn a little bit more about engineering, and then it's kind of like, because the experience is so enjoyable for the two of you, eventually your mind kind of falls off of why you're there, and then you start to enjoy the fact that you're there, as you described beforehand. And this is something he fully gives into as well. And so because his mind is in with yours too, the two of you are kind of like gleaming little bits
about me,
about each other. And these aren't like it's like a flash of an image here,
sparks of memory,
or like a feeling or a scent or whatever, just little bits of melding to one another. Now I do have to ask
smells
you,
that clean and sorry air.
I do have to ask you this question because the Asari are 100% in control of this.
I am not trying to have a baby.
You do not become pregnant then.
I do not. I'm not having a baby.
Because you have complete control.
I knew you were gonna ask.
Hey, Asari don't have sex. Like
the Asari, did they just like, okay, I like this person's brain, gonna have a baby now?
Yeah.
So
it's funny because Asari, it is arguable as to whether or not Asari have the.
We've gone over this so many
anatomy.
times on stream.
Yep. So
we don't need to now.
We'll leave it alone. And
we're having space brain sex already.
With that, we will.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. Ollie, I just wanted to with you. So after that, why don't we take our break with the two of you breaking your meld? Okay. We'll come back in a few minutes. I am really hungry. I'm gonna go try to grab food really quickly.
I need a cigarette.
Oh, hey. See you in a couple of minutes.